Ask 10 Nigerians about Sani Abacha and you hear two answers: savior or thief. Some people remember him as the man who crushed democracy, jailed opponents, stole billions. Others still insist no, this man brought stability. He grew Nigeria's reserves. He even built new states. A dictator and a builder. So who was he really? Let's get into his story. Sani Abacha was born in Kano in 1943 into a Kanuri family. From early on, he was quiet, disciplined, preferred to stay in the background. People later joked that Abacha never smiled. Always serious, always in his dark goggles. His silence made him very difficult to read, and that mystery became part of his power. He joined the army young, trained in Nigeria and abroad, and by the 1980s, he had made a name as a coup specialist. He was part of the 1983 coup that removed President Shehu Shagari. Then in 1985, he helped remove Buhari and bring in Babangida. And his critics say, you see, this already showed his hunger for power, never letting democracy breathe. Others argue he was simply a loyal soldier, always stepping in when the country was unstable. By 1993, Nigeria was in chaos. The June 12th election had been annulled. MKO Abiola had clearly won, but Babangida refused to hand over. The country was on edge. An interim government under Ernest Shonekan was set up, but everybody knew it was weak. 3 months later, Abacha took over. Some reports even say he forced Shonekan out at gunpoint. His critics call that the day that democracy died in Nigeria. But others argue, no, Abacha rescued the country from total collapse. From the first week, he dissolved everything. Governors, National Assembly, political parties, gone. He ruled by decree. Newspapers were shut down. Radio stations were silenced. If you spoke too loud, you could disappear. Activists were arrested. Former President Obasanjo was jailed for coup plotting. Wole Soyinka had to run into exile. Critics call this a reign of fear. People still defend it. They say there were real coup attempts in those days and Abacha had to be ruthless to survive. The most infamous case came in 1995. Ken Saro-Wiwa, the writer and activist from Ogoniland. He had been leading protests against oil pollution and he and 8 others were arrested and accused of murder after a tribunal. Despite pleas from around the world, Abacha ordered their execution. Overnight, Nigeria was suspended from the Commonwealth. Sanctions came from the US and the EU. Many Nigerians call this judicial murder, but supporters of the regime insist, but the tribunal found them guilty. Abacha was only enforcing the law. What about the assassinations? Those ones shocked everybody. Kudirat Abiola, wife of MKO, gunned down in Lagos traffic in 1996. Alfred Rewane, an elderly businessman funding democracy groups, killed in his home. Journalists like Tunde Oladepo, shot. Even the teenage son of a former Justice Minister, Onaguruwa, murdered. Critics say Abacha's secret strike force carried this out. Some members of the squad, they later confessed, but courts, they acquitted Abacha's security chief, Hamza Al-Mustafa. They said that the evidence wasn't strong enough. And to this day, people still argue and they wonder, was justice ever served in these killings? By 1997, even his own deputy, General Oladipo Odia, was accused of planning a coup. Dia and others were arrested, tried, sentenced to death. Many Nigerians believed Abacha was simply removing rivals. Supporters believe there was a real threat there. Either way, it showed just how paranoid and dangerous the atmosphere then was. So while opponents lived in fear, what about ordinary Nigerians? Supporters of Abacha point to the economy. And it's true, on paper, things looked better. Inflation dropped from over 70% in 1994 to single digits by 1997. Nigeria's foreign reserve jumped from less than $500 million to about $9 billion. He created the Petroleum Trust Fund run by Buhari. That funded roads, hospitals, schools. In 1996, he created 6 new states: Bayelsa, Ebonyi, Ekiti, Gombe, Nasarawa, Zamfara, plus over 130 new local councils. Many communities celebrated, saying that finally, they felt like they had recognition. Critics say don't be fooled by the numbers, though daily life was hard. Fuel queues stretched for hours, kerosene was scarce, people cooked with firewood and sawdust. So while the reserves grew, ordinary Nigerians were suffering. And even the PTF, the Petroleum Trust Fund, some projects were real. People remember the textbooks and the roads. But later audits showed corruption and shady contracts in there too. And then there's the money, the Abacha loot. Billions of dollars siphoned straight from Nigeria's central bank into his family's accounts abroad. Switzerland, Jersey, London, everywhere. After his death, investigations confirmed all of this. Since then, Nigeria has recovered at least $4 billion of Abacha's hidden fortune. Critics call him Nigeria's biggest thief. Yet some people, even presidents like President Buhari, they still insist that Abacha never stole a kobo. But Nigerians just laugh because this money keeps coming in small batches every year like Christmas presents after his death. Away from the politics, who was Abacha as a person? He was a family man, married to Miriam Abacha, who became a very visible first lady. While he stayed hidden behind dark glasses, Miriam was flamboyant. She pushed projects like Abuja National Hospital. In private, Abacha was said to be very protective of his family, very generous to loyalists, but completely ruthless to opponents. He wasn't known for parties or loud living. Some say he preferred sitting at home watching Bollywood movies. He avoided social gatherings, he kept his circle very small, and many Nigerians saw him as ghost-like, a man who ruled their lives but he still felt far away. Then came June 8, 1998. Abacha died suddenly in Aso Rock. The official cause was a heart attack, but Nigerians will tell you many different stories. Some say he collapsed after a night with women who poisoned him. Others say it was an inside job. Till today, nobody knows for sure. What we do know is that the moment the news broke, Nigerians flooded the streets in celebration. People danced, clapped, shouted with joy. That reaction alone tells you how hated his rule was by many. But his family and his diehard supporters, they mourned. They called him a hero who was just misunderstood. 1 month later, MKO Abiola also died in custody. The official autopsy said heart disease, but many Nigerians believe that was foul play too. So, 2 deaths in less than 30 days. The dictator and the man who should have been president. It felt like the final chapter of that dark era. So how should we remember Sani Abacha? To many, he was a dictator who jailed opponents, executed activists, looted billions, left Nigeria isolated as a pariah state. To others, he was a strong leader who stabilized the naira, built states, funded projects, kept Nigeria together. Some older Nigerians even say life under him felt more orderly, it was more simple than what came after. And the truth is, he was both the poison and the medicine. And maybe that's why, even decades after his death, Nigerians still argue about him. Thief or savior? Villain or hero? The reality is, he was all of it, and that's what makes his story so unforgettable. Thank you so much for watching my video. If you enjoyed this, please follow me on True Crime with Rennie, True Heroes with Rennie B. Alfred on Facebook. Also, if you're one of my subscribers, I have extra gist about Abacha. It will be only for us in the subscription only page. Alright, I'll do a short video just adding some stuff that I didn't add from my notes. Thank you.